Hello and welcome to our SavagePro Point Series race. This is our Dallas Live replay. I'm Miranda Huber, and with me we've got Miles Keller.
Howdy.
I said good
True
morning,
Texas
but it's
greeting.
afternoon.
This is
So,
something
something
different, right?
interesting. Yes, it is. I'm really excited. Miles and I both raced this morning in this race, and now we're going to commentate it. We're going to try really hard not to spoil anything for y'all, um, but it's pretty fun. It's going to be a different experience on a personal level to see the course and be watching it and be able to give you a little extra insider knowledge as to like how the obstacles went and how the course was laid out and things like that. So that'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. What do you think how about that, Miles? How that's going to go?
Well, I like to put out a little request on our producer's behalf. He's trying to come up with a catchy name for this post-race commentary. I voted personally for post hoc commentary or post hoc recap, but I don't think a lot of people have heard of that. What post hoc and ad hoc are. So if you guys, anyone's got ideas, leave them in the comments. Let us know if you have any ideas. But it's really interesting, and it was a lot of fun, as Savage Race always is. But what was really interesting was there's some new obstacles that even though I've been commentating, I haven't had a chance to try. And now going through the Dallas race, it gives you a different perspective. Some things were easier and some things were harder than it looks on camera. For instance, for
Yeah,
me, the fish net, forgive me,
twist
I'm
and
forgetting
shout.
the name, twist and shout. It is much more difficult than it looks. And
Yeah.
I learned my lesson about not following one person into there because as you approach it, it doesn't look like it's twisted up too bad, but it indeed really was. And you couldn't tell the end. And I realized I was sitting behind a guy trying to unravel it, and he couldn't roll because I was sitting behind him. So I was messing up. So I apologized, and I backed out, and I went and I tried a different lane. It took a little extra time, but it was really interesting. So, anyways, let's take it through the course here and kind of give you an idea. We did the first when we first started. There was a large stretch of just pure running, right, Miranda? Like we didn't expect to see that
Yeah.
that
And the
big
first two
such a large.
obstacles, yeah,
Yeah,
you
I'm
see
sorry. Go
here
ahead.
there also the first two obstacles were pretty easy as well, just a couple walls essentially. So it was a pretty long stretch of running. And then they had a really good like gauntlet of obstacles towards the end. So I felt like that was a pretty good layout. I think it makes for a more exciting finish. It can cause more gaps to form. So I'll tell you from my personal experience, those top ladies were out way out of view very quickly. If you're a fast runner, that running stretch really is going to give you that advantage.
Yeah, and these
So yeah,
first few
even
obstacles are routine for Savage Race, right? Usually,
yep,
the first few obstacles are these same obstacles, except for up the Sawtooth.
yeah. And even Sawtooth to me felt a little easier because it was so early on in the course. And it was a super dry day, temperature wise. It was great. Is probably is around 60 degrees, I think, at the start, which when you're running is perfect. Like I never felt hot or cold during the course. It was perfect weather.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was the first cool day here in Texas. It
Oh yeah,
officially
for
felt
sure.
like the first day of fall, right? Okay, so there we get into the twist and shout, what I was speaking about earlier. That much
Yeah.
more difficult than it
So
looks in the video.
Miles, you said earlier that the new obstacles that you've seen on video were a lot harder than you anticipated, and I just wanted to second that. The new obstacles, twist and shout, the log one, I can't think of its name. I'm sure we'll see it here in a few minutes, but that one was harder than I thought. So a lot of those new ones. So a second ago we saw rhythm race. So I just wanted to say the pros didn't do that obstacle. So they do have, I think there was one or two obstacles where the pros bypassed it and then the open waivers would go through those. The
Yeah, there was a
sawhorses
little
are
bit
just
of
a couple. logs that you jump over, so pretty simple. And then here's where you started to kind of get a couple more obstacles bunched together. Um, Anchors away, followed by the Great Wall, but it was such a dry day. I felt like nothing really was too difficult until you got a little closer to the end.
Yeah, nothing was too muddy or slippery. That was interesting. Now, a little bit of controversy back up there, I believe, in obstacle 16 on Colossus. They eventually ended up shutting it down because there was one side where there was, on the left side of it, there's like a log or a piece of the board was protruding in a certain way that if you went down that way, you'd hurt your back really bad. I was fortunate enough to go down the right side of it, so that wasn't an issue for me. But many others, I'd heard people complaining behind me, like, "Ouch, oh, I hurt my back," and so they had to shut that down in order to. Of course, most of the pros were already through it
Yeah.
by that point.
It did not it did not impact the top overall performers. I think everybody went down standard. So it was closed by the time I got to it, but I was sitting in like 10th place or something. So I didn't catch anybody because of it. It didn't make any difference in, I think, the results. But we might see something different here if we when we watch the live view, because I'm not sure how long it was off for, but I'm under the impression they turned it off pretty late in the race. Lumberjack
Yeah,
Lane was like surprisingly long. How did you feel about it?
that was the exact thing I was about to say. That was, this is the same location that Savage Race has done here in Texas every single year. We call it Savage Race Dallas, but it's Grandview, Texas. It's at the Beaumont Ranch, and we've done it the same spot every year. And we ran sometimes similar course structure, right? And we've done Lumberjack Lane in a multitude of ways, but this was significantly longer than what was expected.
Yeah, and it
And then,
was
of
in a
course, this
new
year we
location. You like went down a hill and it you started with it and it almost seemed like it was going to be a short carry cuz you could see it kind of trailing down to the right, and then it looked like you were going back up and to the left and you were like, "Cool, I'm about to just drop it back off again." And then it went down and to the right again and down and to the right again, and you just kept kind of I kept having these thoughts of, we are going the wrong way. We're going further and further away from where we want to be. I want to go closer to where we started. So, I mean, you kind of knew once you got down to Mud and Guts, you came out of there and you knew that you were finally heading back up. But yeah, it was like trail wise, it was fine. I mean, you did go down a hill, so then you went back up the hill on the other side. But yeah, those long carries are, I'm just not good at them.
well, what's interesting, it's almost like Savage Race is listening to us to commentate because remember we were having a long conversation previously, and when last time we commentated about, hey, whether or not should that log be heavier? It's really not very heavy. It's not very difficult at all, right? And maybe this is their rebuttal to that. They said, "Oh, okay, the 2x4 is too light for you guys. Well, we'll just make it that much longer." And so it was, and even though it's not a heavy log, it's cumbersome running with that longer wood on your shoulder.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the finish. I loved this setup, and Dallas has had the same kind of format in previous years where they have that rig. You see the rig, number 22. You can't see the full title, but it is there. And you are less than a mile from the finish. So this
Yeah.
whole finish segment, and let's be honest, when you go to a Savage race and you're watching the pros, you kind of know the rig is where the race is made or broken. So you are 90% of the way through the course, you get to the rig, and that's really when everything is starting. Because it depends if there's any ladies there, that's going to make a difference in the course, because then you have these one, two, three, four, five obstacles after the rig, and it is essentially a sprint to the finish. You're just coming out of the rig, you got to run hot, you go through scornhole, chutes and ladders, and none of these obstacles are things that you're really gonna, the pros aren't gonna have a hard time like missing them, but this can be
Yeah.
a make or break factor of your efficiency and your quickness going through these obstacles. So these ladies, I think the majority of them have raced almost all the series races, but some of them have been racing more frequently than others. Like Rachel Waters has done almost every course this year. Jamie Horianopoulos has done quite a few, versus like Alex Walker has only done the series races. So having that little bit of extra experience on those new obstacles can help you get through them just a little bit quicker, which can make a difference in that finish line gauntlet. So it's pretty exciting. I love how they set up the finish like that, how you've got the rig followed by a couple obstacles, but it's essentially a sprint to the finish.
Yeah, and what was interesting is you remember when the first time they introduced idea the idea of Lachey into the rig. A previous time they had a very similar rig here in Dallas. A lot of people got stuck there. Today, not many people got stuck at the rig at all. To your point, which is really
Yeah.
interesting. That you kind of hoping some of the faster people will get stuck there, and if you're slower, you can catch up to them. But that just wasn't the case
I
today.
did I did see and hear about people having to retry. So I think the word stuck can be subjective, or like, what do you mean by that? I think people maybe had to retry a couple times, but yeah, I don't think people were generally stuck there for 30 minutes to an hour or whatever, which has happened at some races in the past. So let's move on
So
and talk about the points series.
yeah, how
So
do you think
today
this
in
is going to
Dallas,
affect it? Was
I thought
I'm sorry,
the
go ahead.
Lachey specifically, if you're talking about that, was like a good distance, is why we didn't see um, too much going on. But yeah, for this was race number 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was race number
I think
six.
it was six. Yeah, I think it was the sixth.
6 out of 7. This is our current men's pro series leaderboard, but this was race number 6, but there are 7, and your points count for the top 5 of your placements. Um, so
Yeah,
right
and then
here we've got everybody has.
I think this was the first race that Ryan Kempson did not show up to, which was interesting. I kind of expected to see him there, but he was not here today. The current leader.
It looks to
It's breaking up
me
a little bit.
like everybody has attended 4 races based on the points. Even though this prior to today there were 5 races completed, but I think nobody has attended on the men's side all 5.
Yeah. And of course, we know Ian Hozek's at OCR World Championships right now. We see him in sixth place in there. Ryan Kempson. I
Yeah.
don't know if Ryan Kempson was at OCR World Championships. I'm not sure why he missed it. The other current leader there, Chris Rogloski for the women, she was not there as well. So
Yeah, so I think the
we did
leaders
have
know
the
that they don't have to. Their points are going to count for the top 5. There's one race remaining. So right now, both Chris and Ryan Kempson, I'm sorry, Chris is undefeated. Kempson has only, he has won every race except for one where he came in second. So as long as that stands for the final race, they kind of don't need today's race. They just need the last one in Florida, which is mandatory anyways. So they might have opted to skip this one and do other things. I know Chris is doing a different event this weekend, and that way they can just go in and finish out with Florida for their 5th race. We did
yeah.
see most of these people today. So we've got Chris in the lead, followed by Alexandra Walker with 394 points. So she's only 6 points behind. Jamie Horianopoulos right behind her, 1 point differential there in third. Rachel Waters sitting 7 points behind. And Michelle Castle, Sarah Grippy Snyder, Heather Bucha, Christina McFarland, Casey Monroe, and Jess Shepard finishing out that top 10. So I feel a little bad we didn't talk about the men's names. Maybe we could switch back to that because we were kind of talking about other stuff unrelated. So I want to give them the credit that they are due, right? Ryan Kempson is sitting in the lead, 399 points. So that's always impressive when you have a series and they're essentially almost undefeated. He's only lost one race. But those points, we did see Sean Roberts racing today. And Sean is not listed here in the top 10 because he doesn't have the same quantity of races as these points, but that's going to help him out a lot. And Sean was the only guy that was able to beat Ryan. So I think that that could make a difference here. And I think that may come down that impact the results at the end of the day. But yeah, so let's go through it quick. I know I'm kind of talking fast now. Want to make sure we can get started on time. So we've got Ryan Kempson in the lead, Joseph Kodo. I did not see him today. Sam Osborne, also did not see him today. But then the next couple guys, we do have Robbie Gendrich, Ashton Abraham, both competed today. And then we've got Ian Hosick, Freddie Thompson, not didn't compete today, and then Johnny Mares was there. And there's quite a bit more of a gap on the points here, but I think as more of the guys finish out their fourth race of the series, we're going to see some people that are listed below the top 10 that we don't see right now. Some people could jump up, like Sean Roberts, I'm pretty sure is going to jump up now that he has 4 races completed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is only second series race for this year. But what was really great is I got to speak to him. If we get time, I can talk about it a little bit later on. But I got to know him on a personal level, and I'm extremely impressed. What a wonderful, extremely intelligent young man, Sean Roberts.
When can we meet that? When can we meet that?
Is he here?
I
Savage
sometimes
race.
try to talk to him before the
Legends.
race when he's trying to warm up, and that's not the right time. So I would like to get the opportunity to talk with him and pick his brain after a race when he's just chilling instead of when he's, in the zone trying to get prepped and warming up and all that sort of stuff.
We're gonna meet back up with them at
Yep. You guys could have engineer talk. You're both engineers.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know about him. He's much more of a private person when it comes to like post-race interviews, or even I know he's been interviewed on some other podcasts and things, and I remember listening to one and he really didn't want to get too much into his personal life. Getting a little preview here of the registrations for the men.
Going over it. You'll see Jessica and Savage Race Legends. We see it every day. They've been long-standing Savage Race employees we love to see out there rabbiting for us and getting all this great footage. Huge thanks to them and Kevin and the other and Randall, the other rabbits.
Yep, they do an amazing job. So I think that's Sean Roberts in the lead, and Kevin Thompson, I believe, was the shirtless fellow. There was a guy in red shorts. That might have been Robbie.
There's also a very flat course, as you can see. Sometimes when these flat courses on video, you can't quite tell. You don't know if they're undulating or not, but I felt like the terrain was not as undulating today, and it was actually very flat. It made for fast running.
Yeah, for sure. There were only a couple of hills. I think in the past we have that one hill that they have that a couple times we started on that, but we really didn't have any long hilly stretches.
Here we go. Here comes the Green brothers, Marquez and his brother. Even have time. They're especially at a relaxed running pace. They have time to wave, say hello. I got to meet them as well.
Marquez and Nathan.
Extremely nice young men.
Jason Rich coming through.
Here's the rest of the pack.
It's kind of fun because we probably know more of these people. I see Kendall Ortez, Bobby Tonjas. He makes the Savage axes, so he's a cool guy. I like seeing him out there.
You'll see me coming through here a little bit now, too.
There's Doug Snyder.
So we're commentating, and there I come.
Oh, who's that? Miles Keller. Love to see it. You're beating all these guys right now.
Someone does. I don't like to see myself huffing and puffing and not running as fast as I should.
I think I'm going to feel that way very soon when we see me run by at a very slow pace. My husband took a very cute video of my daughter running with me towards the finish, And it was such a cute video of her running next to me, but also I was just thinking, wow, I look slow. So I think we all kind of judge ourselves that way.
Yeah. Yeah. You and me, or everyone is their own worst critic.
There we've got AC Hale.
And you'll see this is a good representation of kind of what the entire course looks like. This is exactly what except for when you get in some of the muddy areas. The muddy was, pretty sticky. There was some deep mud in places that made it very
just a
hard to
couple
get
spots.
through.
It was a pretty
Yeah,
dry
not
day,
bad.
but you're right. There's still a couple places where, just like the dried creek bed maybe has one little spot that had some rain in it recently.
He was not.
But yeah, you can see this course. It's pretty runnable, pretty flat. Oh, there were so many cow patties out there. And most of them
Yeah,
are
well,
dried
that's
up.
kind of-
We had, 115 degrees days all summer long, so it wasn't like gross or a big deal. You'd avoid the nasty ones, but
that's kind of par for the course at this
Yeah.
location because Beaumont Ranch does have a bunch of cattle, and they wander around, and as every animal does, it poops.
Sean, please. Sean,
And
please.
so
Yeah,
this
Sean's
is kind of
looking
the
good.
expected. Wow, you can look at the kind of
He has
pace he's
such-
running.
Yeah, such great running mechanics too. There are some people that are fast but have kind of a unique stride, and I think that there's been talk about that before. Everybody has a different stride, but Sean looks strong. I'm sure it's that college running background gives him that really good experience and
The
good
next
focus.
one's a lot deeper of a
Here's
jump.
a perfect example
well, I
of,
was speaking with
we
him
came
earlier,
through
and-
this little muddy pit. Miles, you were talking about deep mud. The girl in front of me got her foot stuck, and I was kind of stuck waiting for her to get unstuck to continue my race. And that was like really early, like 200 meters into the race or something.
Sean, just check
So
his
they've already got guys
box there to
trudging along
see his
coming through
pace.
there.
Coming up
For
obstacle
people that are new
number
coming in the
3.
OCR, when you come into those situations, point your toes down. Don't come into the mud flat, otherwise it'll take your shoe off. You want to come into it pointing your toes down, so that way it doesn't suck your shoe off.
Good advice. Yeah, and
Like
I
this
do
is
Nice
during
job.
muddy races for sure. I do that lock back technique on your shoelaces. I like to see Sean doing that strategy there on that obstacle, the back scratcher. You go down underneath of the barbed wire, and then you can stand up at the edges and kind of run through the middle. It's a little more taxing, I think, but you can gain a lot of time there. The going up and down causes a little extra heart rate variability, but it's quicker for sure.
Yeah, you'll see it doesn't quite show it on the video, but Sean Roberts is running about a 5:20 at that pace. For someone with a professional
Yeah.
running background and a track background, this is kind of the go-to pace. You need to be able to at least hold that 5:20, and he's holding it beautifully. Especially when he's constantly battling Ryan Kempson, and you can't make a mistake.
terrain
Watch how
is-
smooth they get in and out of the obstacles.
Yeah. The terrain is flat, but it's also a little bit hilly. It's still a trail run, or even slightly less than that, right? Because they're just like mowing in the middle of these fields where cows are walking. It is a cattle ranch, so they create divots in the ground. So I actually found it to be a little tough on my ankle to go through that sort of terrain. Nice start for
Yeah,
him,
I mean,
jumping into it.
Very
Not
brave
surprising,
too,
he
right?
looked strong.
It'd be easy to miss
Yeah.
that first one and then fall in and really cost him some time, and where he can't afford to lose any time, like when taking on someone like Ryan Kempson. You
Yeah.
notice how smooth he gets in and out. The sawtooth.
He made that middle section
obstacle we
look
talked
really
about.
easy. Do you recognize
Okay.
this red shirt? I believe that's Kevin Thompson there, the shirtless fellow.
Yes, I believe that's Kevin Thompson as well.
In the blue shirt is Ashton Abraham.
Yep, and look how fast he attacked that. The way Ashton got into that obstacle is absolutely beautiful. He didn't take a breath. I think he's the first person that has not catch their breath running up to it.
Yeah, he
He
is
just
definitely
leaped
obstacle
right into
proficient.
it.
Go, boys!
I tried that really hard today to focus on those obstacle transitions in and out. You really can't take too much time there. I believe the red shorts, I want to say, is Robbie Gingerich. And here we've got the Green brothers, Marquez and Nathan.
There you go. Yeah.
I love how they're always matching and they like
Yeah, it's
run
so
the course together. I don't know if they like plan that on purpose, like, hey, let's like help each other pace, or if they're just so used to running together from being twins that they just are.
He heard me.
That's just how it is. I don't know.
it makes it easy to pick them out on the when we commentate on the video
Yeah.
feed. They're unmistakable. It's very easy to pick them out. So it's really nice for on our side that they do
It
that.
is for sure. Yep. Well, even when they're not both there, I feel like they still have a distinct look, and they frequently wear colored shorts. I feel like I don't think I've ever seen them wearing just black shorts, so that can sometimes make it difficult. If everybody's kind of wearing the same outfit, how do you know who's who?
And it's kind of a fun thing in OCR, right? Many people actually show up to these races in wacky, zany outfits. For especially say in the open waves, you don't see it as much in the
Oh yeah.
in the pro waves. About as zany as an outfit that'll get in the pro wave is say Kevin, Bubbles the clown, right? When he wears the clown mask, it's about as zany as it gets in the pro wave. Yeah, you
Wow,
can see a
Sean's
lot of
already
open.
developing a gap there at the front.
Yeah, his running chops so far surpass everyone in the men's field today. It would be hard to catch him. His running background, especially, he doesn't necessarily come from a mountainous area, so hills might slow him down, mountains might slow him down a little bit, but this is flat. This is right up his wheelhouse, so he can just open
Yeah.
completely up and feel good and let it
Here's
fly.
that obstacle here you're seeing is rhythm race, which she was just kind of reminding the volunteers, hey, tell the pros to go through. They're not going to do this obstacle. So I've never actually done that one. I probably need to go back out on course and check it out.
Yeah, do we know why they made that rule, by chance?
I think it's not very conductive to an elite race. It is kind of awkward, time consuming, and honestly, I think they probably don't even have enough lanes to support it, and I think it takes a little bit more time. You have to take these wooden blocks and place them one in front of each other to walk on them, and yeah, I think it's a good thing it's not in there.
Here's Kiss My Walls, which was not as... Some days it can be really hard if it's a muddy day and these holds get...
She's gonna drive through there.
Wow, I can't believe she threaded the needle there. I didn't see that coming. Okay.
All right, so we're
Special
2
shout out
miles
to
into the
Jessica.
race. So we're like a third of the way through the course here. I think Sean has a pretty good lead already. And this is kind of what I was saying earlier, where those top women were out so quick because, and you said it, Miles, like it really is conductive to a runner's course. I like how he's doing the cross through technique. It's a lot faster than if you keep your hips straight to the wall and you just are constantly pushing to the left and to the left and to the left. Yeah, so that step through technique with crossing your arms is really efficient.
Yeah.
So he made that look easy.
And then at about this time, we see the ladies in the lower right-hand corner of the screen about to go off. Including you, you're in there somewhere.
What's his name?
All these ladies
Yeah,
have been
I wore
very...
mostly black today, so I'm not going to stand out too much.
Job Landon! Job
And that's okay with me.
Wonderful to see one of our local favorites, a good local friend of ours too, Vivian Tran, recently won the Spartan Series for age group.
I can't believe
That's
he's
Kevin
racing
Thompson.
in a hat.
I bet he's a trail runner. Have you noticed the trail runners all do that? They'll wear the hat backwards,
Oh,
like
yeah, I
those
guess they-
specific hats. It seems to be a trail runner thing.
Ashton! Go, Landon, you're right there. Yeah, way to go. Good job. Go, Marquez.
Yeah, you see all the top, say, 2nd to 6th place right there are all pretty close.
7.
But how far into the race do you think this is? This is about 3 miles in?
They said it was 2 miles in, so we're about a third of the
About
way
2 miles
through.
in? Okay.
Yeah. So you can see one of the Green brothers going through here. He's doing that lateral technique, and it was more time consuming than the Sean Roberts technique.
And what you can't tell in that video is that those holds on Kiss My Walls are not large rock climbing ones. They're enough to get, say, 2 fingers in. Would you say that's about right, Miranda? They're very small holds, so it's not easy. People are making it look easy, but it's really not. Up ahead here is the twist and shout, is what I was talking about earlier. And man, I'm telling you guys, I learned today. This is much more
And I
difficult than
don't
it looks.
Miles, I don't know if you noticed, but on the entrance there on the sign that said twist and shout, it was telling you roll clockwise. Because if you get in there and you start rolling the wrong direction, you are gonna tangle it up more and you're not gonna be happy.
Yeah, no, I did not see that. I
So
would love
Nathan
to tell
actually
you
made
that
it
I saw it,
faster
but I did not.
because of obstacle technique. So that one
There's
did make a
Alexandra
difference.
Walker
And you
getting
could
out there
see her
flying.
arms kind of flailing out a little bit. And I don't mean that in a negative way. She's doing that to keep her balance. And I feel like that really just shows you how uneven the terrain is. So on the camera, it kind of looks like, oh, it's just like a flat, nice, soft, grassy terrain. But I found this like actually a little tricky to run on because there were all these holes and indentations and things kind of everywhere.
Yeah, you can see
Alex
where it
and Jamie
undulates a
both
little
threw
bit there.
that.
I thought it was
Yeah.
flatter. But you know what's interesting, you're right, that's not Alexandra Walker's normal running cadence.
Yep.
She doesn't normally look quite like that. I don't know if she switched that up on purpose. But she's still flying. See, Jamie's hot on her heels trying to keep her within striking distance. Alexandra Walker's going to keep her honest and make her work for it. Like you said, the ladies got out really hot.
They're gonna come through any second. Key thing is that they replace the rings.
Yeah, in and out. You see where Alexandra Walker doesn't even look behind her. Yep.
Jamie's not too far though. She's staying with her.
She's really got to. Jamie wants those points.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the running. Jamie's been, I think she's been to every race, right? I don't know if she's missed any.
She has done all the series races, I believe.
And you gotta imagine, it's expensive to fly out to these races. They travel around. You gotta imagine how that also puts an extra pep in your step, right? You spent all this money all year. You want to follow the series. This was maybe one of your goals this year. And then, now you've already invested so much, you really got to fight for those points. You want to do as good as you can with those points. And all these ladies are within striking distance. Even though Chris has been undefeated, they want to do as good as they can. So it's a little bit of. Do you think there would be a little bit of an extra pressure when you paid for all that flying around and the car rentals and the race injuries? What do you think?
I think so. I think that these top men and ladies put a lot of pressure on themselves and they want to do something worthwhile, right? So these people are kind of on like the edge or the cusp of like going pro. So they don't want to attend races that are going to cost them money.
Yeah.
This is actually a pretty close field of third through sixth or seventh. Those ladies
Yeah.
all came through really close. But yeah, I think the pressure's on because they don't want to attend something that's going to cost them a bunch of money. They're good enough that they should be able to pick and choose like that. So I bet it does. Like if you come out to a race with the expectation of like, cool, I'll make my money back, and then you don't, that's a pretty big disappointing factor.
Yes. Not to mention, most of us, hey, work full-time jobs and only have so much PTO, right? So you're taking
Yep.
taking that time off. You really want to maximize it. No one wants to take that time, travel halfway across the country, and not perform the way they wanted to perform. So Anchors Away was interesting here. It seems much shorter than it normally is, correct?
Yeah, it was only 4 rungs. It is definitely shorter. I was able to do it in 2 moves. I started on the start hole, skipped one, to the middle ring, and then I skipped all the way to the bell. 2 moves.
And you normally just don't see people struggling on Anchors Away. You remember when it first came out, there'd be people that got stuck there, that'd give up their band. Many bands collected by the Anchors Away. And nowadays, it's just kind of become a staple. We see it in different races. We see it in OCR World Championships. And so people
I
have
think
practiced it enough where it's not a hindrance as much.
Yeah, I think you're right. Practice does make improvement, right? So, of course, now that it's been around for a little bit longer, people are going to have a higher success rate from practicing it. I think that 1000% the weather and what you've done prior to this obstacle make a difference. So, like I said, I got through this obstacle in 2 moves today. To me, it was super easy because it was such a dry day. If those rings are wet or slick or muddy, like imagine if they would have put this obstacle right after Lumberjack Lane when you went through mud and guts. You would have come out of it, all those rings would be soaked with mud, and those become so slick. The rings seem like really great to hold on to, but when they're wet, they're so slippery.
Nice.
Yeah, and the rings have, I don't know if you ever noticed, they have a little bit of texture to them.
Good job, Kev.
It could be more difficult, but it's not. It has a little bit of texture to the rings, which I appreciate.
Go Marquez.
You know, just something as small as a few little bumps here and there on the ring gives that extra,
Yeah.
a little bit of extra grip.
Man, he lost a lot of time there.
Yeah.
He went into the obstacle with Kevin, and then he was behind him by like 30 seconds by the time he pulled out.
It's really close, Marquez. Let's go, Ashton. Let's go, Nathan.
That's the furthest I've seen Nathan behind his brother. They're normally so close together.
Go, Ashton.
I think the gap really started developing on the Kiss My Walls obstacle where you have those rock climbing grips. I'm surprised we're not seeing any of the guys doing a whole lot of skipping. Yeah, see, I got onto that one from the start and then skipped to the bell like that. So that saves
that's
a good
actually a
amount of
really
time.
good point. You're right, they're not
And the
skipping as much
greens,
there.
yeah, surprising because the men typically have a wider wingspan. So that's typically my go-to with Anchors Away is try to skip as many as I can. They used to have like 6 or something, but they weren't spaced super far apart, so you could like skip 2 of them.
Yeah, I personally didn't skip any today. I just wanted to play it safer, and I did
Yeah,
not.
it
I
is
thought
safer
about it.
for sure.
Whenever the women come through, just make sure there's enough lanes for them. But we should be good.
There you go, seeing some of one of the wonderful things I love about Savage Race is you see a whole bunch of spectators there. It's really not that far from the
Yes.
start
Festival
line,
area.
right? Yeah, the festival area. Yeah, yes, thank you. You can come and see your loved ones come race. It's usually accessible, and they design the course like that so it's more spectator friendly. And you know how much that can mean. Just like you said earlier, you had a really great video of your daughter running alongside you near the finish. You know, to see your loved ones rooting you on at some certain point where you're just sucking wind, and you've been running hard, and they have that. It's kind of a refresh, right? They get that support. So it means a lot to the athletes. Because a lot of people are out there, they don't have any support.
Yeah. I mean, my daughter is 6, so she's not going to be running all over the place, walking a half mile out to an obstacle, but because we looked at the course map earlier and we talked about how they had that gauntlet of like 4 or 5 obstacles right there at the finish. That's where my husband and daughter sat, and it was perfect for them. They didn't see me run most of the course, but they got to see me do that whole finishing gauntlet, which was really cool. Awesome, very spectator friendly. This was kind of up a hill, so we went up this hill in the morning when I was warming up. And then I think my 6-year-old was like, nope, I'm not walking up that hill again. But if she would have been willing, there also were 3 or 4 obstacles right there at the top of the hill that spectators can watch as well. And like you said, we kind of saw them on the side.
Yep.
What did you think of Sawtooth today? To me, it was like really dry and a little bit easier than it's been in the past because of how dry it was. I had no problems whatsoever. What were your thoughts?
I mean, that's what always makes it difficult, right? Is any time that if it's really early and because of climate,
Alex
the dew
just
point
looks
has hit
so
and
strong
everything's
right
slippery.
Yeah.
Wow, look how aggressive she attacks it.
Go, Sean.
Oh, and she
Jamie
leaped off
is
the end.
really going
She
hard
just
today.
looked so strong in that transition. She just muscled up there.
Stay here and get like 2, 3, 4, 5.
She
Wow.
is keeping
I'm
that
surprised
same
how close
gap
that
between
is.
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randall's like, I cannot keep up with Sean.
And you notice the gap, the third, is much larger.
Yeah, I wonder if I hope we get to see some of the group of women come through, because when we saw them running through the woods, it was like, and we kind of did just see 2 or 3 women all enter at the same time. A little unfortunate we're not gonna see that battle, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll see them battling on other things, but all of those other women battling for third are grouped very closely together. And that
Now,
obstacle proficiency on that sort of obstacle is going to make a big difference.
if I remember correctly, he's about to go into kind of a ravine of trees in a gulch.
This is Lumberjack Lane. You get
Oh,
to
Lumberjack Lane. I'm
remember
sorry. Okay, that
how
comes
long this
after
carry
this.
is.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get to see
This
them
will
go
give you
through
guys
mud
an
and
idea of
gut.
just how long. I don't know if the camera follows it over, but this is the longest Lumberjack Lane I've ever done, and I've been doing Savage Race for many years now.
I remember there was one course that I watched. I didn't attend it, but they had the men and women start with the log. I think they've actually done that a couple times, but they ran like 2 miles with it or something.
Oh wow!
Like something crazy. Yeah. So I'm glad they don't do that.
Teresa.
Personally, I'm bad at carries, so I definitely know it's a weakness that I need to work on.
Oh, wow.
Here we've
Now-
got Kevin Thompson coming through Shelf Help. This is a new obstacle this year. Made quick work of it. I liked this one. It's like kind of simple, but takes a little grip strength, and I liked it.
I found that one to be easier than I thought it would be.
It's a guess.
For whatever reason, I thought it'd be harder, but I found that one to be very, very easy. And it seems shorter in real life than on the video.
No.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's dry. Everything was so dry, I feel like
Yeah.
really the grip stuff was not as difficult as it could have been otherwise.
Yeah.
So I
Red tide
think
number 5.
that's probably third place, Marquez Green, and here's fourth place, Robbie Gingerich, I'm sorry. And I hope I'm saying that name wrong. Right. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm so sorry. So sorry, Robbie. Here's Ashton Abraham. You can
I'm
see
taking the
the
easy
guys,
route
like,
by
there's
not
a
trying
little
to
gap.
enunciate it.
Yeah, good job, Kev.
Yeah. I'm just gonna call him Robbie.
For sure.
And to show you how long this run is, notice how we haven't seen the fastest guy, Sean Roberts, there today. We don't see him back with the log,
Yeah.
and he's all out running.
Chris
with
is
it.
Good job, guys. Woo!
Alex is looking good.
This is third right here, Marquez. Marquez, battle for third right in front of you. You got it. Let's go.
Oh, it looks like third place just got
Robbie
in
and
front
Marquez.
of Marquez right there, and they're fighting for third. Meanwhile, we got
I
Alex
feel
doing
like-
her thing.
Something silly, but for women, when you see the ponytail bounce in a very routine method like that, it means that the cadence and the stride is nice and even. You're not favoring one side over the other. I know it's kind of silly, but like I know that I'm running good when I feel that. Miles, I'm sure you can relate to this. When you feel that ponytail flopping left and right nice and evenly.
Yeah, I mean,
Kinda
well,
silly, but-
it's a really cool point, actually. I never thought about that, but it logically follows, right?
Yeah. I feel like I
that
can kind of
ponytail
tell
is
how
directly
nicely
pulled.
I'm moving. Yeah.
Yeah, it's correlated
Is your
to
head
how
moving
she's striking
properly
the
with your
ground.
body?
It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Look at her.
Or-
She just looks so comfortable.
And this is the first time I've never seen, like, I haven't seen Alexandra Walker look back not one time this whole time.
All the videos. and
She's just
stuff.
running her own race.
Yep. I think that
Her-
she's
her
got the
pace.
confidence now that she knows she doesn't need to. She said, I'm just going to run
Yeah.
my own race. I'm going to push it. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah. Yes. It's like, and we're off season. We're all thinking. We're all hibernating. Yeah.
She's doing a little combo of the two techniques. She's stepping through her legs.
Oh yeah.
and then her hands are kind of doing that left push and matching on each. So I try to cross both. It's slightly more efficient, but you can see that I think Alex's technique is quite a bit faster than
Not even
Jamie's,
came out yet.
but
Yeah. Yeah, I
it's
think
also
you're
a little
right. I
bit
think the
safer.
crossing over. I think the
I didn't see
crossing
Alex
over
run out
technique might be
yet.
faster.
Oh, okay, then they come this way. Yep. Okay, so Sean is done.
You know, it's interesting that we normally wouldn't have that conversation about what's the most efficient way to get through Kiss My Walls, because while they have to say the Z Wall in Spartan Race, you never hear anyone talking about what's the most efficient way through Z Wall,
The
right?
Z-wall blocks are further apart, and I don't think you can do a crossover technique. Here we've got Johnny Mares going through Shelf
So
Hill.
let's see, what
Nice,
time is
looking
it?
good. Local
9:30. Let's
Texas
see how long
grit
the
fitness
gap
athlete.
is. I'd say 2 minutes. Yeah. Let's see. 9:30.
And that hands only, no feet sign might be a little misleading because you can hit that bell with your foot.
Yeah.
I actually
I
hit
think
it
if
with my
you're-
hand just in case, but
It has like elevation
Oh.
or like
If you're in the pro wave, you should be
Oh,
reading
okay.
the rules
And
for
it's
every
still, like,
race
kinda,
you're
like,
competing in.
really
You should know what's legal, what's not. For example, like last year OCR World Championships, and I'm not trying to dog at all, but you know, Rylan Shadegg used the liquid chalk and it was explicitly against the rules. So if you always want to know the rules. So I'm a little nerdy. I'm an engineer, so I don't mind reading things. So even though I've done
there I
a
am.
ton of Savage races, I read through the rule book again today for anything I thought that could make a difference.
Let's go, Johnny.
You look like you're in a rush, Miles.
Yeah, I tried to hop up to knock that back off and it fell down. I handed it over and now I'm off.
I know. I hate that, having to push that thing off of there.
Whoa.
We haven't seen
I
Sean
want to talk
Roberts
about
yet
who's on
still
screen.
since then.
Something bad happened to me, but I don't want to bring attention to myself. And the thing is trying to focus on what's on the screen. I can tell you later on about what happened to me.
Phone battery is still holding strong.
So at this point, Colossus is still open. It ends up getting closed later on. I'm interested to see which way Sean Roberts goes down.
Yep.
Oh, he's going to take the middle.
Now, yeah, Sean went down. I like
Now,
seeing
were
Air
you
Force
expecting the water
10.
to be colder?
Oh, I didn't do the slide. It was shut by the time I got to
Oh,
it.
that's right. That's right. Okay.
It looks like it
Yeah,
wasn't
it
as
actually was
difficult to
not that
get
bad.
out. Sometimes it's like super slick and you can struggle to get out of there.
Yeah.
I was
No, it
gonna say,
wasn't bad at
Air
all.
Force Ken has like the fastest technique in that obstacle I've ever seen. Sometimes he does
Sorry,
this
we're
like
on the
flip
sign.
at the bottom where he
Back.
turns it into like a dive into the pond at the end, and he goes fast. Wow, I guess Sean went the wrong way. He had to circle back around, get back on course. Good thing he had a big enough gap built up.
9.
Yeah. He has a big enough gap there right now where it's not an issue. Yeah, he's looking. You can see him looking back, seeing if anyone's how far back the competition is.
He probably got nervous when he had to kind of backtrack a minute. You know, if that was,
Yeah.
I know it didn't make a difference today, but if we had like Ryan Kempson there, he would have capitalized on that and probably would have pushed his pace faster if he was able to make a pass there. So it never feels good, but I
As
feel-
close as those two are, you would have passed them.
Yep. So yeah, I bet he's just grateful it didn't make a difference. He's like, all right, I still got it.
Yeah, Marquez.
The weather was absolutely beautiful. It felt as good as it looks there. Look at that bright blue sky, not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah. Sean looks so
And then
fit.
every once in a while-
He seems, he's so strong.
He's waving at his brother.
He's got a nice, I don't know, he's pretty tall, has a nice stride length. Got a battle
He's a
for
pro-
second
he's a
and
pro
third
runner.
there.
Every once in a while, a nice breeze would come by, and it made you feel so good. It was the most wonderful breeze that would pass over you.
The breezes made me chilly.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
This was an obstacle. I need to figure out the name. I can't remember. That obstacle was a lot harder than I expected it to be. It looked
Tree
Tree Hugger
hugger.
2.0. Thank you. It looks super easy, and you're just like, oh, you just like jump up. But man, there was actually some technique to it. You had to jump up and dedicate to wrapping, at least for me, I had to wrap my legs around it hard to be able to stay on and then reach up and grab the rope and pull myself up and shimmy up further. So it
Yeah.
was, Sean made it look super easy. He just jumped the rope and hit the bell because he's tall. But yeah, it was actually kind of fairly difficult for me. Yeah, and we've got this battle going on for second and third place. Marquez Green for sure. I think it's Kevin Thompson.
So what you can't quite tell in the video right there is that this is the first time I've ever seen Block Party at a decline.
Yeah,
He's on a hill there. I'm not
me
sure if you
too.
can quite tell. I mean, it's not a hard obstacle. That's not a heavy cinder block. It's not a big deal. But,
Yeah.
they added a little more
And I feel like,
cumbersome to it, right?
yeah, the camera doesn't do it justice. It's still like a much
Yeah.
steeper hill than it looks like there. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. It didn't, like you said, it didn't really make it too much harder, but I think this is a slight downhill at this point. It looks like he's running much faster than he was a minute ago. Looking solid.
Yeah, you can tell when looking at the different running strides between Marquez and Sean Roberts there, you can tell just how much faster Sean Roberts is moving. Look at how fast he attacks this.
Wow.
Wow, look at that. A
technique.
lateral shuffle underneath. Now those are barbed wires, by the way. Yeah, but they're pretty high up, right? They were fairly high up.
Yeah, I took a similar strategy. I did a sideways bear crawl like that, but mine was not nearly that fast. And that's where sometimes like hip mobility and focusing on stretching and things like that can make a difference in a crawl obstacle like that, because you need to be low to the ground and your hips need to be able to kind of come up and around in a different way to be a little more efficient in it.
There we go. Yeah, we're getting
Miles,
slightly distracted because I'm.
Did Alex pass you?
Oh, they did. Well, I had to explain what happened. My timing chip came off, and I had to backtrack a half a mile to go find it, and then run back the other half a mile. At that point, many of the women caught me. At that point, it's just about having fun. So.
All right, so this
I
is
didn't
a
fail
Charity
anything,
Bourne.
but- Yeah.
She's actually pretty young. I think she might be 17. She's got good obstacle proficiency. She's out of Grit Fitness. And she is fast.
You know what was really great about seeing her there is her sister. Her younger sister was there competing against her as well. So those two sisters got to battle each other, kind of like the Green brothers. But Melody and Charity are much younger. And it was kind of cool seeing those two and seeing what Melody is going to do in OCR. That whole Bourne family is great OCR athletes.
I think we missed Sean going through the rig because now he's doing Scornhole. So he must have made quick, easy work of that. Yeah, we caught him catching the bell and that's it. But I can't believe he had to try that 3 times. You could see the disappointment on his face. Like, come on, really?
Yeah.
This one's not even hard.
And then I like his little kick, his little celebratory jump kick there.
Yeah. This obstacle was a little more time consuming than I wanted it to be. I think like getting that technique is going to be important, but it was fun. I liked that one.
Yeah, he's in the final stretch right here. You just pretty much have.
He's got about a half mile, and 2 more
then
obstacles after this one.
Well, yeah, maybe that. Yank my chain.
Are you getting
The names for these obstacles are absolutely fantastic. It's one of
Wow.
my favorite things.
He just bicepped it all the way up. That's pretty strong. Made it look easy.
So this
I like
race
to
is pretty
lean
much in
back
the
with
bag
it.
for him.
For sure.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I'll actually lean back and just use my weight to lift it. Because it's an interesting thing. It gets heavier the further it goes up because of
I
the
like
length of
that.
the
Yeah.
chain. You don't
It gives
expect
you a
it, right?
little, yeah. We're all used to a different series where you're just doing a sandbag. It's the same weight all the way to the top. So I like it because it gives you a lot of confidence when you're like, oh, this is light. I can pull this for a long time. And then slowly you like barely notice it at first until you're like, oh, like this is actually really heavy now. So I
Yeah.
love that kind of warm up into it.
Did you notice a lot of bamboo? I've never noticed bamboo out here
Yeah.
before, as bamboo is not
This was really
indigenous to
cool.
this area.
Yeah, I love how they mowed this area just like in the middle of these two fields on either side. Like, kind of fun to run through there.
Marquez, all
Yeah.
you. All you, all you.
Okay, now we're back on Alexander Walker, still in first place for the women. There
Yeah,
she is,
I didn't
about
see
to catch some
anybody
of the
behind
dudes.
Sean. We're gonna assume he makes the win.
Yeah.
Here we've got Marquez Green and
Yes. Yes. You good, Kev?
Robbie.
There you go.
Yeah, Marquez. Great
Nice.
job.
Marquez
Let's
makes
go,
it through.
Robbie. Yeah, Kev, make it up here.
Oh, Robbie and Kevin, they all want it. All four of them
Go, Kevin. Watch your
Wow.
like
They're
in
so
contention. They could get second. This is
they were so
second to last
tall they
off.
didn't have to lachey.
Yeah, that helps.
There you go. Yep, and it is in the bag for Sean Roberts. He's got the cargo net, and that's it.
Yeah, strong performance from Sean today. I'm sure he feels great about that. Great for the series points.
Go, Marquez. Good job. Kevin definitely caught back up.
There we go. We're gonna see him cross the finish line and take first place for the 6th race in the Savage Race Point Series here in Dallas. Well, Grandview, Texas, actually.
Yeah, Marquez. Good job, Kevin.
Yep, solid performance from Sean as he crosses the finish line. I bet that feels good. You get that nice big Savage axe to take home. It's never a bad deal.
So, funny story about that axe.
So
I got a story
Sean comes
for you
through.
about the axe.
41 minutes and 23 seconds. And now we're getting that view of Marquez coming around that field. So we just saw Sean go through it, so we know they're pretty close to the finish line at this point. But when we saw them coming off the rig, and it is anyone's battle. We've got Marquez here, Kevin Thompson right behind him, and Robbie should be rounding that corner, I would expect, in another moment as well.
They know they're right at the end. Hey, do you think he made it home with that axe, Miranda?
Yeah, why not?
No, he didn't.
Oh no!
Nice work, keep going.
Why do you have the axe?
I'm holding on to it for him because they won't let him take it on the plane.
Yeah, I think you have to check it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure people have flown with it before. I think you just have to explain it's race winning, it's wood, it's not real. But I'm sure he didn't want to risk it. Or maybe he's had trouble before. Here we are, the last like 100 meters. The last 100 meters of the race, and Kevin is making a pass on Marquez. He must be pushing hard and doesn't have anything left in the tank.
These guys gotta be so tired.
Yes.
This is the worst possible place to get pushed, right? You're just dying at this point. And then have someone push you right at the very
because
end.
it forces you to give it 100%. You've got no choice. Oh man, Kevin just leaped through there. He full commitment.
Be smart. Good job.
Man, Kevin was just more
here it is.
efficient. Come on, Marquez.
This is it right here. This is it. Okay.
If you saw the finish yesterday between actually I won't spoil it. Another race
I know what you're
happened
talking about. I
yesterday.
want to see
Similar
that.
finish. Yep.
Let's go.
The cargo net
And
finish. I love it because like cargo net isn't a give me as far as like efficiency. Different people take different amounts of times, but you can make or break it depending upon. It's not a quick obstacle. Oh yeah. Marquez wanted it. He looked a little more had a pep in his step, but just not enough race left. Wow.
there
Second
you
place
go.
Kevin Thompson, third place Marquez Green. And here we see Robbie right behind them starting the A-frame cargo now.
Yeah, I love the cargo net
So,
at Savage Race. They always keep it so taut. At some of the other races, sometimes
yep,
the rope
yeah,
is really
feels
loose
good.
and it makes it kind of weird to climb it, but it's always very taut across the board. I love how they do it at Savage.
Yeah, Robbie kind of proved that there as he ran down
Nice
it.
work. Keep it up.
So, yeah, Kevin finished
Was that
in
you just
44
there?
minutes.
Who was that in
I'm
all
not sure. I
black? Was
wasn't
that
looking.
Rachel
fight.
Waters?
Nice fight. Hey.
Solid top 3 performance from our guys.
Alright, thanks guys. I'm just gonna take a screenshot from that.
Sean Marquez. I'm sorry. Sean Kevin Marquez. And they're all in the series. Marquez actually isn't in the series. And I'm not sure about Kevin either. Here's
Is that
Casey
Casey
Monroe
Monroe?
making it through Chef Help. Yeah. So that was not me that you saw a minute ago.
Nice work. It's fifth and sixth.
Charity Bourne.
You can kick it.
Wow, look at
Here we have Rachel Waters
Waters
in the hoist.
nail
Good,
that
you're
and
good.
just attack it.
Nice work. Nice
Yep.
work. Nice work. Keep
Made
it up.
up some ground there. And you can see they're all pretty stuck together.
All right. And then we're empty. And cut across.
And then we've got a gap. I'm somewhere in one of the later groups of women.
Catching a glimpse of Nate.
I'm gonna have many files.
It's all good. You guys want to follow her? And I'll stay here?
Yeah, yeah.
Rachel, Teresa.
Good job, good job. All right, go forward. Hey, circle back and see if Jamie's coming.
Flipped or off or what?
I started it because I got all the men.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do.
When?
What the? Oh, so we're going up to Cheese. Good call. He knew about the ditch.
Big ditch. You want to get up to the first one or stay with her?
Let her cross and then we'll catch up to the first. I'm so proud of her. We hadn't seen her at all. She just kicked it into overdrive. You got this, Rachel. Home stretch. Just two obstacles. You got it. That's awesome. I love her. Yeah. And I don't know at what point she passed the other third runners, but no. All right, let's get her on these last two. That's so exciting. I'm so proud of her.
All the way from the entrance to the losses, all the way around both sides, and then to the safe on the exit. Copy.
Third place female Rachel Waters, knocking out Wrecking Wall right
Keep it up. Keep it up. Yeah, you got that. No problem. There you go. Nice job. Nice job. Nice big pull. Nice. Yeah, keep, there you go. Go, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it. I didn't see it. There, you got it. Run it, run it, run it. Down and around. You got 2 to go. Easy ones. All right, I only saw 2, huh? Only see 2 women. All right. Can you follow 3rd if she comes through?
Yeah.
I'll come back and pick you up. I want to pick up Jamie's finish.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job. All the way in, right there. Jessica, you stay there.
Okay.
I got him.
Okay. This is it right now. All gas. Yeah, right.
Nice,
Gas,
come on.
gas, gas. Go,
3 to
go,
go,
go.
3 to go. Nice, that's third place right there. It's all gas from here. All running. Come on, big pulls, big pulls. There you go, one more. Come on, big pull, big pull. Still going. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. Come on, drop it and go. 2 obstacles. Nice. Run it out. 2 to go. Yeah. There's the A-frame and then there's a wall before it, and that's it. I would stay at the A-frame and finish. Nice job, nice job.
Okay, Charity. Shake it off.
All right, come on, Miles. Hit that little shake. I got it.
Let's go, Miles, get it. Come on. That's all right. Finish, Miles, finish. Back for more. Play around.
There you go, Rachel.
You don't have one in your backyard?
Yeah. There you go. You got it. Yes. Yes. Okay. Strong. Strong, Charity. Come on. Give it ever. Yes. Okay. Got this.
He's done. He already finished.
There you go, Rachel. You got it. Absolutely killing it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, right?
Woohoo!
Hey, at least we got good officials out here.
That's awesome.
Come on, young lady, you got this. All right. There you go. Okay, breathe. Okay, now get that little thing going whenever you're ready. Come on, get more.
Let's go, Vivian. Where you been? Did you go on the first wave? Did you go on the first wave? Okay. You can skip that little blue bar if you can swing across and grab the little white ropes.
Oh! From the handle to what?
From the handle, grab straight for that rope. I would try to tell you to skip everything, but you can't.
Nice, love it.
See you, Vivian.
Oh, fuck you, little twist it. Whoa.
You're good. All the way. There you go. Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's shake.
Get that little shake on, young lady. Get that little shake on.
Hit it with your hands. There you go. Nice. Let's go. Squat and throw it in the hole. Nice. Let's go right here. You're almost there. Almost there. Yep, pull it back. Pull it back, slide down, grab the rope. Slide down, grab the rope. There you go. Next one, pull it. There you go, put your foot down. Now when you slide down, hit the bell with the other hand. Come on. You have your band? Huh? So you got this and 2 more fast obstacles. Fast. Like, you don't even have to think about it fast. Pull this down, get a high, high up, pull down. High up, pull down. Come on, one more. Come on, pull up. Lay down. Got it, let's go. You're good, let's go. This is a run. Come on, let's run. You're almost there. Not even half a mile. Miles is just ahead of you, but he lost his band.
On what?
Huh?
On what?
Place? I don't know. You're in top 10.
Miles lost his band?
Yeah, I don't know what he said he lost it on. Come on. You can push. Let's go.
I know.
It don't. You got a wall and cargo. That's it. There's no more, like, other than a little rope climb here. You're good. Anything talking to you?
My lungs, I can't. When you push, I have to control.
All right, breathe. Focus on your breath. Let's go.
That was quick. I can't believe it did the rig that quick.
Yeah, that's why you gotta skip that nunchuck.
Yeah, it made sense to skip.
Come on, breathe. Give me a big breath through your nose. You will fill your lungs more when you breathe through your nose. Some crazy biological thing. Come on, these 2 are it. All you gotta do is climb up and over, and when you dive down, hit the bell, rope on the other side. There you go, reach up. Same thing, swing and hit that bell. Push and go. There you go. Let's go. Cargo net's it. Yeah.
I always do well when you're not there.
Well, sorry I couldn't go back farther.
You were there when we need.
Yeah, right here. Let's go. Up and over, nice and easy. There you go, jog it home, jog it home. There you go. Can we get a photo?
Yeah, okay. Here.
Oh.
of extra money to follow the series, in any series of any event, right? So there's a bit of commitment in there. Do you feel added pressure because of the effort you've put into the whole series? Say when you're sitting in fifth or sixth and you see the other ladies in front of you, what are your feelings on that?
It is a big commitment. You sacrifice other events you might want to do based on, calendar dates or venues that, it may not be your first choice of a race for a specific weekend, but you commit to the broad picture, and a lot of money and time away from your family, time away from everything else you need to do, and, work and that. But, um, I don't know. It doesn't really give me pressure it used to, but I think I have a lot of peace with my results no matter how they are. And so I'm just kind of happy to be there. And then when I do well, it's exciting. Luckily, I'm not in a position where how I finish in a race is going to dictate if I can afford to eat or pay my bills. So, I don't have a lot of pressure that way. I can still keep it as a hobby, and, perceive it as, you know, still being there, just, I guess, at a more professional level. But, I do think it does a little bit, because you see these big dogs there and you're like, okay, this is going to be harder. But no, I've gotten pretty good though about just running my own race, I think. But, it is a big commitment, I think.
Yeah.
And for OCR athletes, it's getting harder because prize money's starting to just kind of dribble away.
Dwindle.
And so, yeah. And so I
You're
think,
going to lose some of that talent in that way because people aren't going to want to spend thousands of dollars traveling to a race if there's no money in it, right? So many people went over to the OCR World Championships in where was that last month?
Mammoth,
Belgium.
like
Everybody
California.
had to pay their own
Oh,
way. VJ Jones talked about it. He said, I would have had to pay thousands of dollars to attend that race. So I'm sorry, but he literally said in a podcast, like, I'm poor. I can't spend that kind of money when I've got to go to work and you'd have to take time off and all that sort of stuff. So I think it depends on each individual.
yeah. And
I don't race to make money because I most of the time do not make money. So when I spend money on flight, rental car, hotel, meals, traveling cost, gas, all that sort of stuff, which adds up if you attend more than one race. Um, I never have the expectation of being on the podium, but my experience compared to like Christopher Glowski or Alex Walker is different, right? Like they're in contention, or Rachel Waters, you guys are in contention for the podium against those set of people. I don't usually throw my name up in that kind of level, but you and I have talked about this as well, as like it's always that personal mental attitude. You're judging yourself harsher than anybody else does. So I know you said like, Miranda, you're up there. Like,
yeah.
why don't you feel that way? So I understand that. And I won a race a couple weeks ago that I didn't expect to win. But again, it's like, I'm not attending for money. The money is cool. I don't mind the money. It's always a great to look at it like, cool, I made my money back.
but it's your hobby, and,
Yeah,
I
I
think,
love doing it.
some
I
people
would pay
might
money.
go out on the weekends and spend $100 at the bar, or some women might buy nice shoes and purses. And so, when I
We
travel,
buy muddy
yeah, I
experiences.
travel kind of cheap, but, when I look at the cost, it's like, okay, a cheap flight, a car, maybe a partially disgusting hotel room. Like, you might spend $500 to go somewhere domestic, and it's like, that's my social life. I guess that's my hobby. Like, I don't mind. I make a way for it, but it is hard. It's a hard balance. But
We can trade stories on shady hotels. That'd be its own podcast.
yeah, like I think like the
Completely.
OCR community, I'm sure the crazy things we do to, have a bed to sleep on, for a
Yeah.
race. But I think it is
Yeah.
also the perspective of my lifestyle isn't expensive other than this. So
Of course, a lot of us stay with other OCR friends, right? It's kind of the beautiful part
exactly.
of the OCR world. They was like, "Hey, come stay at my house," like you're doing
Yeah.
right
It's a great
now. It's a perfect example.
Yeah.
You're doing
So
right now.
Rachel has actually brought that up a couple times, right? The hotel thing. She's like, oh, your bathroom's so much cleaner than like that $50 motel down the street that I would have gotten otherwise. And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to think that it's a little better of a situation and experience.
Yeah, and sometimes these events are in the middle of nowhere, so
Yeah.
you're not going to have
Yeah.
higher end stuff, and it's like, I'm going to be there for 8 hours, and then I'm going to leave.
Yeah. And all you're going to do is sleep in the bed. Like, it depends on the person. So again, Miles, that question maybe is subjective, because if your standards are a little bit higher,
I've
then
looked.
you're your cost for
Oh
travel can be a
yes,
lot higher if
lots
you
of
want a
fun.
specific rental car, or if you want a Hilton. Your race travel expenses are going to be double what I'm willing to pay. But then that means that I can go to twice as many races in the same cost. So I would rather attend quantity than quality of the sleeping arrangement. I don't really
And
care
you can
about
always
that.
volunteer. You can
Yep.
go to a Savage race. So many of the pros race, and then we hang out all day and get to be a part of it, and get your race entry covered. So
Yeah. I want to kind of plug something here indirectly, but if we have some open waivers watching people getting into the sport, something that's great is you can become a part of the community in your area, right? In Texas, we have the Lone Star Spartans, we have the Southern Spartans. There are multiple groups, and I don't mean to mention another race brand here. I kind of hate that, but there's also the Savage Facebook group. You can go on there and you can say,
Savage
hey, who else
Syndicate.
is going to Dallas? Anybody want to split a rental car and an Airbnb or something like that? So you also want to kind of vet those people, make sure that somebody can vouch for them. Just as maybe
Yeah,
that's something more as a woman that we have to think
yeah.
about. So Miles, I don't know if
Nobody's
you've
trying to
kind of
kidnap
considered
this.
that. Um,
I can't give this away.
uh,
I fooled
yeah,
one
or
woman
like I
into
feel better.
accepting this.
most people aren't going to mess with me if they see me though.
Yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, it's just a really awesome community, and then there's like that payback factor of like, cool, you let me stay at your house. Now when I go to Atlanta, like
Yeah.
hopefully you can make a bed for me if room. Like I understand it's not going to be like a commitment. Hey, you stayed with me, so one time, but it just kind of opens the door. We want to help each other out. We want to help the race cost. If you can ditch out on a rental car or a hotel or something like that, it just lets us enjoy our hobby more. So I love that.
Yeah.
I know we've been on the feed for a little while, so I think we should kind of wrap up. I don't know if we're able to pull up our current series standings
I'm
after
before we
race
do
number
that, I'm gonna
6.
have to I'm gonna have to go. I have that family emergency. I apologize to everyone tuning in. Our producer Jason apologized. The family emergency popped up, and I should have left a little while ago, but I did not. But I'm gonna hop off.
All right. Hope everything's okay,
Ray,
Miles. Text me if you need anything. Happy to help.
I sure will. Wonderful to see both of you as always. Thanks to everyone for
Thanks,
tuning in.
Miles.
Have a great night.
Bye bye.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure. Do we have any? Are we able to pull in the point series leaderboard after today's race? I know Rachel, you said you came up a point. Awesome. So kind of like I talked about, I knew. Oh, this is our top 10 for today. Sean Roberts, Kevin Thompson, Marquez Green. Good battle. You should rewatch that race. Robbie Gendrich, Landon Price, Ashton Abraham.
It is
Abraham.
backwards.
It is backwards. Nathan Green, Gage Hicks, Johnny Mares, and Justin Parker. So awesome job to our top 10 finishes. Only a 11-minute gap between them, so that's not too bad. Pretty close there. You see a lot of close numbers there as you look between like second and sixth. They were all within like 2 or 3 minutes of each other, so that's a pretty close battle there. And we'll take a look, hopefully, at the ladies' top 10 finishes as well. We have Alexandra Walker, Jamie Horianopoulos, Rachel Waters, third place, Michelle Castle, Casey Monroe, Sarah Grippy Snyder. I apologize, Sarah, I didn't recognize you a couple times on the feed, so shout out to her. Jessica Shepard, Vivian Tran, Cassie Petch, and Genevera Gannon. Sorry. So great job, ladies. Again, you kind of see the splits there, just 2 minutes between Alex and Jamie, and then a pretty close battle there between third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all within 1 or 2 minutes of each other. So always fun to see those kind of close finishes. So great work to our top 10 men and female finishers at today's Dallas race. I'm just going to give it one more minute, see if we've got anything else we want to see before we conclude today's live coverage.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this so I can see my race.
Yeah. All right, that's it for today. This was Savage Race Pro Series race number 6 out of 7. We will see you next time in Florida. Do you know what that city location is?
Dade City, and
Dade
it's
City.
November 11th. So we will have our last race and the Point Series award ceremony that
Yep.
day.
Awesome. See you guys then.